Everyone, Jim Coventry from RotoWire here, waiting on John Ryan. I sent him the link late. Hopefully, John gets this link and comes on so we can get him on for some gambling. But we're going to start the show and bring John in when he gets here. So we're going to start out with some prop bets for Week 6. These players are also players I'm advocating for DFS. Make some comments there. When I make the case for a player, it works in both ways. So we use this for gambling, we use this for DFS, and then we are able to make some winning opportunities from those situations. The first player I am looking at to go over 286 yards is Tom Brady. So first of all, the passing game has kicked up quite a bit for the Buccaneers. And in the last 3 games, Brady's averaging 45 pass attempts, and in his last 2 games, at least 351 yards. This offense has really gotten its groove through the air. Now, Pittsburgh, perfect team for him to match up on. Pittsburgh has a tough run defense. They're the 9th best run defense. These are per Pro Football Focus. I'm giving the numbers on these. And Pittsburgh does not get to the passer. We think of the old school Blitzburgh defenses, and we think of the pressure they bring, only 23rd in pressure rate. So they're a bottom 10 pressure unit. Now, the quarterbacks they've held down this year, Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Zach Wilson, basically, they play a bad quarterback, they do fine. The other 2 games, quarterbacks torched them. Here's the bigger deal for Brady. So we talk about the pressure rate being low for Pittsburgh. Well, that's where you can attack Brady on the interior offensive line has been injured and they're missing players. But that said, now that weakened pass rush they have isn't going to get to Brady. And the next thing we're going to look at is the entire secondary, except for the strong safety, is out for Pittsburgh. Their top 3 corners are out. Minkah Fitzpatrick is out. So Tom Brady, this is going to be a pass-first game, even if the secondary players weren't out. And good luck playing backups against Brady. The DFS stack to me is Mike Evans with time to throw. Obviously, Brady's going to get some more downfield looks at Evans. Godwin will be fine too, but Brady's not going to have to go to the slot for any other reason. John Ryan, welcome in. I sent you the link late. I apologize to everybody. That's the downside of me being old.
It's quite all right.
So we're glad you're here. I just started talking about some props, which we always start with. I just gave the case for Tom Brady over 286 yards, and I'm going to go through a few more quick props, which are also DFS plays. And then, John, we're going to get your great picks for the week and break those down really well. I'll give you a proper introduction before your segment.
Thank you.
So the next player we're looking at in DFS and for prop betting, Jeff Wilson over 66.5 yards against the Falcons. The Falcons are not a good run defense. They allow almost 4.7 yards per carry, and teams rush the ball 22 times per game against them. Well, the whole identity of the 49ers is more of a conservative attack when Jimmy Garoppolo is under center. So Wilson is going to be called upon to run. And the 49ers defense is banged up. Atlanta, though, doesn't have the type of offensive style that could take advantage of those injuries. Atlanta wants to run the ball. The 49ers are healthy at linebacker, and linebacker is where their run defense generates from. So even though Atlanta uses a lot of heavy looks, the 49ers are going to be able to slow them down. They should play this game with a lead. It should be closer, but a lead. And that means Jeff Wilson can flirt with 18 to 22 carries here. And at that price, he definitely goes over. And we've seen some explosive runs in the last few weeks, so he is really getting in gear with the offense. And the third out of 4, love Jamar Chase this week at New Orleans. He has not been great this year. Defenses are playing the too high shell on him. They're limiting the explosives. Teams are pressuring Joe Burrow. Downfield passing game's not there. This week, it's going to show up. Now, Jamar Chase's prop is 80.5 yards, John, and here's how he's going over. So we think about New Orleans and all those years and the great defensive fronts and the pressure. They haven't pressured last year or this year. They're bottom 8 in pressure rate. So they are not getting the quarterbacks, and they don't blitz much. And so Burrow's going to be clean. We also have Marshawn Lattimore is out. That's a huge loss. Even if Lattimore was in, I still thought Lattimore does well against the physical receivers, not the speed guys like Chase. So Chase, who's a great route runner as well, was going to have an advantage. And then Paulson Adebo, the other corner, is less than 100%. Now, against this defense already, We've seen Tyler Lockett go over 100 yards, Justin Jefferson for 147. DK Metcalf, different type of receiver, but 88. So receivers are putting up yardage. Now, Jamar Chase only has 54 or fewer yards in 3 of his last 4 games. But the 3 games Chase has gone under, John, those were teams against top 9 pressure rates. When they get to Burrow, no downfield game. One last thing to even make this case stronger. T. Higgins, he may play, but he's less than 100%. He'd be a perfect decoy here. And we have one more, John. We're going to go with Marquise Brown of the Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks. And his prop is 70.5 yards. Now, they're juicing it up, I noticed today. I got it at a really good rate the other day. But Seattle simply, they can't rush. They can't cover. They can't stop the run either. But with James Conner and Darrell Williams out, I don't think Eno Benjamin's going to be the centerpiece of the offense. This is a week we get Kyler Murray right. And we've already seen the Seattle defense give up at least the number for Marquise Brown to 70.5. They've given that up to Josh Reynolds, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. They've given it up to players that are not going off. Marquise Brown is seeing at least 11 targets in each of the last 4 games. So he is going off. Seattle, bottom 2 coverage, bottom 7 in pressure rate. And this is a get-right game for Kyler Murray. So again, these are DFS and prop bets. Now, John Ryan, time everybody's waiting for. We got to get some bets here, John. And when we talk about John, remember, you have one of the elite minds in sports betting with John Ryan. John Ryan has been on an absolute tear, as he always is. 14-2 ATS last week. Was that last week? Oh, my gosh. Unreal. 28 years he's been a pro sports bettor. And his max bets last 14 months, 75%. And John is crushing week after. His bad weeks are break even. That's what the bad weeks. John, you have been rolling. What's going on with you these days before we ask you about the first game?
Well, over at gambling.com, which we are part of as the team, you and I and RotoWire certainly too, and that team, we have a contest going on over there, and Chris Wallace picks 5 games, 6 games, and we all pick them. And I just been, I've had the horseshoe with me the whole time, and I'm 23-7 in that contest now. And you do tend to get these streaks going, and you have to be careful not to get caught up in the emotion of it and start thinking that, well, gee, I have done this for 28 years, and I know there's going to be that one week where I look like I've never handicapped in my life.
Yes.
But you keep grinding, and that's the whole point of it. We bet numbers, just like you were doing those great prop bets, and your prop bets have actually hit about the same percentage as my games. So the combination of the two, knowing that you're on certain players, Jim, has actually helped my handicapping and also my DFS lineups with DraftKings. And several weeks now, I've made changes based on what you have shared on the show and what you've sent to me, and it's paid out. And instead of not making any money, I'm actually cashing on those DraftKings lineups. So, I owe you a few pizzas, I think.
Well, it's teamwork here. We both have our areas of expertise, and mine is breaking down the components, the nuts and bolts of the X's and O's to get there. And you just find the best trends, the understanding of how teams go about covering. And between it, we have the audience covered. John, the first game you like this week. So we're going to talk about Eagles, Cowboys. I'm not going to tell everybody who you're taking. I'm going to let you tell that. But in this game, so everybody understands the setup, aside from Dak Prescott, who's expected to miss one more game, both teams come into this game relatively healthy, which is great. We're going to see a fun football game. Now, Dallas has an excellent pass rush, and they're great in coverage, largely due to that pass rush, but they struggle against the run. Now, the Eagles' D is similar to Dallas's, but they're not quite as weak against the run. They're actually at least average against the run, but they get to the passer, not to Dallas's level. Their cornerbacks are better than Dallas's. But on the season, John, everybody's going to watch this game. Eagles are 5-0. Dallas is 4-1. Tell everybody what you like about this game and who you're going to pick.
Well, that's great points about the defense, especially Dallas has been playing extraordinarily well. But this angle that I'm going to present here actually works against that defense because they have been too good for too many games. So we're going to bet on teams with a winning record. The Eagles are undefeated, facing a team that has seen their total go under by 42 or more points over the last 5 games. And as you know, 42 is an important number because that's 6 touchdowns over 5 games. And that is a reflection of the offense kind of being plain vanilla, but Cooper Rush executes it so well. He knows what's expected, and he knows that he has a good defense. It's like, it'd be like pitching for the Dodgers during the regular season, knowing that you have an offense that's going to put up 7. All you have to do is just, get more ground ball outs than fly ball outs. And it's not that easy, but that's kind of what's working here with Dallas. So then the opponent that the Eagles are playing has won at least 75% of their games on the season. So it's those 3 components. A winning record team, Eagles, facing a team that's seen the undergo under by 42 or more points over the last 5 games, and with that opponent winning 75% of their games. That's gone 17-5 against the number, 78% against the spread,
Wow.
13-8 for 62% on the over. But I think I'm looking at the Eagles pretty heavily here. And live in-game bet, which I like to do, Jim. If you think Dallas might try to get out to that early lead and bring a lot of enthusiasm and take that Eagles crowd out of it, do 50% pre-flop on the Eagles. And then if Dallas scores first, jump on the remaining 50% on the Eagles tomorrow night.
And that certainly could happen because Dallas will come in looking to run the ball. And if they do that, they could have a successful first drive and put those points on the board. So John gets you set up with that live in-game betting idea as well. John, we have another game that you want to specialize with us for this week to recommend for betting. It's Carolina against the Rams. In this game, PJ Walker is expected to take over for Baker Mayfield, who's doubtful with an ankle injury. And PJ Walker, in his time in the NFL, just so we understand, he's been about a 57% passer. He has 2 touchdowns to 8 interceptions over the last 2 seasons that he's played. But the Rams have a lot going on their side as well. They're still without their center, Brian Allen, their right guard, Coleman Shelton, and that offensive line has been a disaster for them. Cam Akers is not going to play. Coach's decision. Hasn't had a lot of juice as it is. And those are the main. So these teams have some stuff going on. John, what's your lean on the Carolina versus Rams game?
Well, this is my contrarian play of the week. And obviously, by saying that, I'm on the Panthers. And I don't know why the market is pricing them at double digits against the Rams team, as you detailed, has a lot of problems going on, starting with the offensive line. And missing a lot of those weapons that they enjoyed last year when they won the Super Bowl, that Super Bowl year. So it's a situation where I think the market has overreacted. The firing of the head coach certainly came as a shock. And whoever's going to replace that it could be one of the offensive coordinators being from the Dallas Cowboys, or the guy at the Eagles right now is doing such a great job. But for this week, we are looking to bet on dogs between 4 and 11 points that are facing an opponent that has not forced a turnover in 2 straight games. So, Jim, we were just talking about the Rams offense. The defense hasn't done anything either.
Nope.
And the last requirement is a non-divisional matchup, which this is. That has gone 19-17 straight up. So the sprinkle the money line is definitely active in this game for me. 26-10 against the spread for 72% winners. 24-11 to the under for 69% winning under bets. So it looks like a Carolina and under, pizza money size parlay, but a premium bet I like on the Panthers as a premium bet, and then a sprinkle on the money line.
Now, John, I have a specific bet I've made on this game as well. And based on what you talked about, I think you're going to agree with me on this one. I like often playing a team's individual team total. The Rams team total in this game is 26.5. I have no idea how that number got cooked up. I don't know that the Rams are scoring 26.5 points against anybody right now. They could play Alabama. They might not score that right now, I'm thinking. But what are your thoughts on the under 26.5? Is that a reasonable bet that I'm looking to make?
Yeah, I like that bet too. In fact, that might actually be just a tad better than doing the total for the game. for the exact reason that you said, because if I think the Panthers are going to cover, this is going to be a game played in the mud, so to speak. Not that the weather is going to be like that, but it's going to not be fun to watch. Might be a little bit more fun than that Thursday night game we saw, but it's not going to be the marquee matchup like the Dallas and Philadelphia game will be Sunday night. So I like that quite a bit. What you just said with the under.
Yeah, I've done really well with individual team totals. Sometimes you find opportunities with those as well. But so remember, we're recapping John's picks for the week. Carolina taking the points against the Rams. Now, the Eagles over the Cowboys, he recommends taking half of it pre-flop. And then if Dallas gets a lead early, get the boost in the points there and work the rest there. And I had gone over a few DFS and prop bet players. All of these are on the over. Tom Brady, over the passing yardage, 286. Jeff Wilson, over 66.5 rush yards. Jamar Chase, over 80.5 yards. And Marquise Brown, over 70.5 yards. John, any final thoughts before we get out of here for week 6?
The only thought I have is to bet with your heads and not over it. And make sure you give Jim Coventry a follow, RotoWire a follow, @gambling_com a follow. And if you aren't tired after that, give me a follow.
Yes. Yeah, give all of us a follow. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, please smash the like and subscribe buttons. We appreciate that. If you want 2 days free at RotoWire behind the paywall, no credit card needed, so there's no scam here. Just go to rotowire.com/try. Give us a chance, see our great comment. John and I will be back next Saturday. Good luck in all of your gambling, fantasy, DFS ventures this week. Have a great week, everyone.